All right, we will record this. All right, class, it is my greatest pleasure to present to you all Spencer Keeton Cunningham. He is an amazing artist coming out of the West Coast right now. He's on a residency in you in Honolulu? You in Hawaii, but why?
Undisclosed location.
Yeah,
Hawaii.
exhibited in so many different museums. The almost State University. Was it you did Berkeley, right? What Berkeley Museum?
The Berkeley Art Museum has a painting of mine in their permanent collection. And then the Crocker Museum, I did a show there. It was a group show called When I Remember I See Red. The Autry Museum. There might be some other ones. Oh yeah, we did the China one, Erlin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Guangzhou Highlands Museum.
It's called the Wending Highland Art Museum in Guangzhou, China. Me and Erlin did a show. The other artists were
with a bunch of artists.
So this is actually have like an astronaut helmet on, and there's a bunch of symbols in the background. And there's upside down Nike sign. We got broken arrows, teepees, deer tooth pattern. And that mural that's actually in the background is basically a rebranding or a carbon copy of a separate mural that I painted with a friend of Erlin and mine named Jaque Fragua. This is a tribal identification card. To those who don't know, it's a card that's issued on a native reservation. Another angle of that mural, this is in Seattle, Washington. A recent mural, a symbol of a coffin on there with a heart on it, which for me was representational of their idea of love is like dead to them. What he's seeing in this female character is an illusion, if it's real love, and she's got this thing going on over here where she can't be loved. To me, it was like a funny puzzle piece. You got the snake bite, some of the process. This is another large scale mural. This mural was about the fires that were happening in Northern California.
The forest fires, yeah.
Yeah, so while I was painting this mural, actually, this was in Sacramento, North Sacramento. The sky was covered in smoke. I chose to focus on the idea of the indigenous sovereignty protecting the forests. There used to be controlled burns that were allowed to be done. And as more and more areas were colonized over time, less controlled burns were allowed to be done. So more land burned. And this piece was focusing on the animals that actually were catching on fire. And
you painted the trash cans too, dude?
Yeah, so that lines up at a certain angle when you're back in the lot and you line your up because it kind of blocks the field of view. The stump is like a fox on fire, a bird on fire, a wolf on fire. Comment on pattern work as well, because the pattern work in this is actually a flame and destructive. Bear on fire, some logs on fire, but it's all framed by that pattern work in the top corner. It says indigenous sovereignty protects land, air, and water. Climate change, if indigenous sovereignty is respected, protected, climate change will work itself out. We just need to slow down. There's another angle of it. And this is some footage I shot in the neighborhood, so you can kind of see what the neighborhood is like. I'll pause that audio, it's quite loud. But I did kind of a welcome to North Sacramento. This guy's writing music though. Let me play it for a second.
No violence, spraying, no witnesses, no face, no case, being with the shit. I felt broad day, been empty clams, cut plans, cause it wasn't about cash, school wasn't no fun, couldn't bring my gun, no chain gon' come like Obama say. But they shooting every day around my mom in the way, so he put an AK with Keanu and them stay, and that's for any got a problem with me. I'm crippin' while I'm living, come and follow me, pistol poppin' Poppy Street.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. It's North Sac, so
I ain't never ran from them but the police. I ain't never ran from them but the police.
That's the mural on like a different stage, but like North Sac is pretty wild sometimes, and like it's a really safe place and everything, but like if you're in the wrong place
anywhere in the world, yeah, that's how
talking about the wrong thing or being rude to someone, dude, that's not the place you want to be in certain streets. We're talking about with like rebranding objects. An area that burned down in Napa, art collector wanted me to come paint. So the idea with this was to create a quilt work, like a contemporary pattern work, indigenous pattern work on like indigenous Northern California land, Miwok and Pomo territory, also like Ohlone territory. But these fools just rolled up on me in some like, I don't know, dude, like jean overall, like shirtless type of thing. I have permission to paint here. Like you can kind of see how the whole area is burned down too.
Yeah.
reclaiming an object in a space, rebranding it with something positive and indigenous.
And
like
so you're using symbols that are in that that were connected to that local tribe in that area, right?
That's actually something that we should talk about, because that's something that I don't feel I would have the right to do. As Jake had mentioned a long time ago, a symbol of strength. The eagle is a symbol of strength. Over here, we have a similar pattern reversed. This is loaded with symbols. This is something I did in downtown Seattle. It was a part of a project that was just a public art project in Seattle on Denny Way. People were walking by and I was being influenced by things people said, or some guy was doing drugs across the street. And then I did these ceramic sculptures on top. So this was up for like a few months. And then these ceramic sculptures, I left them there. And if someone took them, they just took them. Part of the project is free art. But this was a painting done right as I was going to Standing Rock in North Dakota, which was an indigenous protest. They were using dogs to attack native people to stop them from getting closer to the pipeline. And I thought that was really fucked up and ironic, because dogs are wolves and it's just very sacred. And you're using a wolf to attack native people, which is just really messed up. And there's some references to oil as a symbol, bombs going off near his feet. So it was just a chaotic thing. But then here again is the the eagle pattern. Erlin asked me to talk about some symbols with something I did with originally through Disney, and Disney basically owns ESPN, and ESPN owns the X Games. So it trickled down that they want to try to like brand the X Games with art. Like, do whatever you want to do, and then I didn't really want to do it because I don't do commercial work. And then I thought about it for a while. I was like, well, maybe I could kind of sneak some stuff in here. I did sneak a lot of really weird stuff into a really mainstream thing that I think millions of people saw: deforestation. It's like a brain on fire because people are watching TV. And I kind of snuck these Mickey Mouse things into the design. So this is on television. It was live. They turned this image that you're looking at here into the gold medals that people wore. What are you talking about here? Is this like, are these human skulls? Is this oil like pouring into the mountainside? It's about human extinction and pollution and animals.
You are already, that's the thing, is like, you're still getting your opinion across and you have the right to express yourself as an artist.
Like, this is Disney, right? And they got like crazy lawyers. It's like they already put everything live on TV and without me signing a single thing. Had a film crew come out and like film me. These guys came out to make a little like film documentary on me, and then they went to go out and make a film on Lil Wayne's. He was the music artist for it. And then when we were both in Miami at the same time, they were trying to like get us to skate together. It didn't go down, but it was pretty funny. But it was just like ESPN, like Disney stuff. And in the long run, I wanted to keep a business relationship working with them, but I wanted to critique the corporation. Even this up here is a symbol, igloo on fire, a humorous symbol for global warming.
Yeah.
Move forward from that. Recently did a big art show with some friends in Seattle, curated by Gage Hamilton and Dom from Archive. It's called Forest for the Trees, and this is just some footage from that.
I'm saying, because you never know. I see ya on the other side, because we're worldwide. And if you're on the other side trying to understand the words that...
So basically, a lot of the pieces people were making, they're showing up on site and creating them. I created this piece as almost as kind of like not a self-portrait. It's a portrait of a hybrid of two of my friends. Actually, this is supposed to be a portrait of Erlin and Jake. So Erlin used to like kind of make these renderings of like a flat top, like kind of character that he had. And Jake is like a big boxer and he's got the feather coming down. It's surrounded by pattern work. I just play with this idea of these sacred animals as symbols, but they're also fighters. So this one's a boxer. There's also a face created like here for like eyes and a nose and a mouth. When people are asking me what this painting was, I say, oh, it's a portrait of Erlin and Jake. Yeah, it's literally like a combination of Erlin and Jake to me. You know what I mean? And this is Jake. I think Erlin might have mentioned maybe he had done something for it.
He spoke for my other class.
Jake is a boxer. Jake is an indigenous artist, and Jake is one of my closest friends, like Erlin as well. Yeah, I should have threw that in here. I took IAC stuff out of here because I didn't want to make it like too complex and confuse everybody. Okay. But yeah, Jake's an incredible artist. He does like indigenous work like on a large scale, where I tell people like as far as contemporary indigenous art, he's like one of the top dogs. Like he's like the big dog that people need to like check him out. And the spelling of his name is Jaque Fragua. Is Jaque Fragua, but it looks like Fragua. And this is another rebranding kind of thing.
So yeah, describe like the rebranding aspect of it. because in Arizona,
Yeah.
New Mexico, you would see these signs basically like guns, ammo, and like what would it would be like liquor, drugs, and like what was it? What was
Yeah, like I think what Jake likes to focus on a lot is like a lot of aspects of indigenous life and a lot of aspects of like the colonized world, like historically and currently, like messing with indigenous life. I'm not quoting him on that, but like this to me, how I'm interpreting this, and I've never talked to Jake about this specific piece, but say this is a neon sign which has a functional purpose and a thing, you know, liquor, whatever, and this is just like, this is what the colonized kind of like system really wants, you know, guns, ammo, land. You know, maybe actually this is also what indigenous people need to get the land back, you know, guns, ammo, and land. You know, it could be read a few different ways, but Jake makes a lot of work that has to do with like the exploitative nature of signs in the tourist industry, and kind of these things like made by real natives. You see them in places, it's really not, you know, it's really not. And it's laughable, you know, like we laugh at that stuff, but and this is a little bit of more to do with the actual taking an object or like a brand of cereal. Like Erlin has created this cereal for an art exhibit that we did one time. So I'm in here building a giant cardboard computer, and Erlin's like, dude, I'm gonna release like a cereal for this art exhibit. So I filmed all these things, and our friend Isaiah Flores helped me film them, and we edit them to like promote our art shows. I'll let this one play for a second.
Yo, what's this? What's going on here? Crayola flakes. Crayola flakes. It's like cereal, but they love Crayola. Is it Nabisco?
And that was me there. I tried to hit Erlin's spoon with a skateboard, and he tried to stab me. That art show was really fun. Me and Erlin had people that came up to us for that art show, and they said that like, I've never been to an art show. Like, if this is what art shows are like, man, I want to go to all art shows. And
it was fun. That was really fun.
That was a really fun show. But the idea of like the cereal and like this, you know, commenting on culture and toxic things is like a really interesting concept. Like this image is a little bit out of order, but it was a different view of that piece I showed you guys from Seattle. And I think there's one more little shot of us installing the exhibit that had the Crayola flakes in it. And I can let Erlin speak more about the Crayola flakes, but this has some more Crayola flakes footage in it. I'll scan through it a little bit. We were having our friends Isaiah help us cut all this cardboard.
Yeah, I've been told that that painting gave someone nightmares.
I mean, the idea of Crayola flakes came from literally just cornflakes. The idea of like taking a cereal box and like rebranding into like my artist persona and connecting back into it. Cornflakes is the most basic, generic brand of cereal that everyone gets. As a kid, like you would, you know, sometimes we'd see all the different brands of like toxic cereal, and my parents would be like, no, we can only afford cornflakes, and it's low in sugar and low in everything else. And so Crayola flakes was literally the same thing, but what I would put inside each box of Crayola flakes was like a brick, a broken piece of glass. If I could fit a crowbar in there, I would put that in there too. But it was like basically it was interconnected to anarchy. Like a lot of what I'm interested in and comes back into like our connection with the IAC is like the other aspect of the Western expansion and like rebels, outlaws, these people that went out and carved a name for themselves regardless and in spite of whatever society wanted, they did what they wanted. And it was also connected to very much stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. And so that for me, that's like it goes back into like my Haitianity, like my cultural connection is like, you know, someone that, you know, comes from a culture that fought for their resistance and their rebellion, but also people that are really willing to carve out their piece in the world, regardless of whatever government, authority, or anyone else dare cross that line. So I feel like all humanity has a right to defend themselves and also express, you know, their opinion about that. So Crayola flakes is in line with that, and it's all in line with like the other ideas and concepts. Go ahead, Spencer.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if you showed them what the size of the box was, because the video I showed was like a large sculptural element that was a part of the exhibit, and then I think later on in this footage it shows that Erlin made a bunch of individual boxes and then put the things inside of them. And I was, you know, when you were talking about that, it sparked this movie that I saw recently. I found out it was based on a true story in Philadelphia. Was that Concrete Cowboy?
Yeah,
You see that?
yeah,
Yeah, that was
the movie, but I actually know the Cowboys.
that was
I know a lot of them.
yeah, that was just reminding me of like, something that's been around for a long time in an urban area, but people don't even know about it. And then it gets getting kicked out and people are changing it and people still don't even know about it, but it's been there forever, and like, yeah, a lot of things are happening like that all the time. People just need to open their eyes to and like just pay attention, like, I'll let this play. I think this has some more Creole flakes coming up.
A month. They're sitting in the rain on top of a wall.
Yeah, we made posters for the show. I wish I would have made posters for every art exhibit.
That was a good idea, actually.
We made a large scale computer in the middle of the space that's right there. It doesn't look like a computer yet, but this was in San Jose, California,
You
where
gotta send me some images of the computer and some of the that I literally have a whole catalog of just massive cardboard sculptures and stuff.
yeah, and this is a book I made that was part of the exhibit.
You send me this book. This is crazy. I wrote this big book called Me and My Niggas, and it literally is about like my whole college experience, not just college, it's my human experience. This is great to see again. Yeah, like keep letting the video ride, dude.
Hey, I'll look.
I'm just covered in Vaseline and slippery. You can't touch.
I don't know. I think that was something we were messing around with the audio. I had to mute the audio. So here's the Crayola Flakes box.
And I actually put a couple of these in. Since the inception of Western currency, the empire of the U.S. corporations have exploited and manipulated all. Yeah, this is so. I would put this into grocery stores and people.
I know. I want a box. I want to put a box.
Find these box. I just think it's so hilarious because I put these in grocery stores and people would be like, "What the hell?" I did it in Safeway. I think I did it in 2 Safeways in a Whole Foods, and like people are like, "Dude, what is this?" Like, and they, security guy. No, they'd be like, they wouldn't know what it was, so I just tuck it in with, cornflakes or like a generic brand, and like some people be super excited about it, but also some of them had, at the bottom of some of the boxes I had like, a fake, like a brick, like a real brick, or like, and like with a message wrapped on it, like, maybe break a expensive car window or something based on anarchy and, taking from the cream of the land. And at that time in San Francisco, there was just so much going on. There's so much excess and like so much poverty. It's like this contrast of everyone driving Teslas and then people like legit, like, shitting on the streets and dying,
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, cause I moved to SF in 2004 and then I've seen it develop into something I stopped recognizing it when like Erlin saw me. Me and Erlin lived together for many, many years. And I went on a road trip for like 4 years. And then I came back. I was on the road for 4 years straight. I came back being all around the world. And I was like, damn, what happened? Like everyone's gone. Like every indigenous friend I have is gone. Everyone that there is gone.
It's pretty intense. And I think that displacement is something
just
that,
that's robots replaced everybody. Yeah.
You can keep I didn't realize this was on the boxes, dude. You like what?
Yeah. No, dude, I zoom in on all your stuff, man. I archive even back in the day. So me and Erlin met in college.
Your DNA.
me and Erlin met in college, and Erlin came up to me the first day I think we met, and he said, "Hey, man, I heard you can like make some movies or something, And we made like a wild like moon movie like the first day or so that we met or whatever, and like yeah, we know each other for a long time, but I'm always, even Erlin would put stuff on the internet and he would like delete it and not even have a copy of it. And I would like save it. And that type of stuff is somewhere too. I like save things.
It was really hard because at the time, it was like, you have to understand like in this big thing, like we were making work in like the early 2000s when like, YouTube and all this stuff, some of these stuff isn't even around, like Instagram, all that stuff wasn't really around. And it's like, it was hard to understand, how do I use the internet correctly? And I was like, do I put it on YouTube? Do I put it on Vimeo? Do I like, and we were making stuff that wasn't really normal. It wasn't like, this was experimental, like, video production. And then people are just like, yo, like, this video is hella weird. And I'd get like YouTube comments of like, what the fuck is this? Like, just death threats and weird things too. But
yeah, man, I've gotten some death threat actually as well online from when a bunch of Native friends and I were protesting Trump's inauguration, his first one way back. It was only one, but it was a long time ago. And I I remember I showed a video of like a black veteran like burning a flag, which is like a symbol of distress. And then like some dude hit me up on emails and was like, I'm gonna like crush your head in with a rock at a protest. And I was like, whoa, fool, like that shit's really, you can't throw death threats out of people like that. It's wild. This is some more, I just want to show you guys some studio kind of stuff. This is when I did an artist residency up in the woods in Oregon. It was a place called Caldera. And I think I went a little bit crazy in there because they saw how much stuff I was making in there, and like you need to slow down, man. Like you like so I'm making a bunch of ceramic sculptures as well.
What residency is this?
Oh, it's I really recommend it to any artists that want to check out a really amazing residency. And I don't work for them or anything, but it's called Caldera, and it's up near Bend.
Caldera? I'll write it down.
Yeah, Caldera, and it's up in a place near Bend, Oregon, which is an area of Oregon I used to live briefly with my friend Kyle, like when I was really younger, like 18 years old. And you're up in the woods in like A-frame cabins, and you have access to all this stuff, and it's snowing, and you're in there just like, you can go in the summertime as well. But when I was doing the residency, there was actually a couple other dudes, I think, from the Colville Reservation, which was cool, and a few other people just doing audio recording stuff, not even doing any visual stuff. And I was just using these studios.
I mean, it's on
Okay, cool, yeah. I'll scan through. Let me scan through.
I think you should try approaching me gradually before you're completely enveloped in the black hole interest of my virtual reality.
If I show up to do an installation somewhere, I just, this is like doing a real fast one. It was in Sacramento, California. And I just wanted to give a little perspective of like some other works and the ideas of symbolism. This is a work of mine that was recently put in the permanent collection of the Crocker Museum. And there's a lot of symbolism within it. I'll skip forward through this a little bit, but it's cool to be on like the same walls as like, you just go right next to it, and there's like Kehinde Wiley painting, which Erlin is familiar with his work. He's like an incredible painter who also went to the San Francisco Art Institute. He's done like portrait of Michelle Obama, like tons of amazing work, and it's kind of cool to read right next to the painting and then like kind of be in that same spectrum. And let's see, I think I'm gonna scan through these kind of fast. It's just like I wanted to show you guys like the idea of creativity just turning into like, okay, I'm gonna do some symbols of teepees, and I just turned it into a creature where it was like, I could just be like, oh, I just made a mistake, I'm gonna stop painting. And I recommend that everyone just like keeps painting till you're like finished with what you want to do, or take a step back from it and decide if you want to, but I don't know, I really like that piece. There's a lot of things I never like have exhibited, that's one of them. This is a piece I did in Seattle, just kind of about like symbolism of like landscapes, like toxic indigenous lands that have been polluted. This one also, it says decolonize over here. And the symbol I chose was a wolf, and this idea of a wolf on fire as this like sacred creature in distress on fire, and it's kind of like the guys that who owned the place, or that were connecting me to the people that I painted this mural in Seattle, were like, we don't want you to write the word decolonize. And I was like, why not? Like that's what it's about, dude. Like some older works, some more symbols. This is a mural from Mexico. Art show me and Erlin did called Gentrified, which is about San Francisco's gentrification. I remember I made a little symbol for the art show, and it was a little piece of chicken with like a house like frying on it. And I think just for symbolism, that might be one of my favorite like little symbols I made. But
the name was fine. I came up with that name, bro.
Yeah, check that out.
So, I don't really know art, so, I mean, I just know that my nigga can't kill him. That's it. And get the H. I don't know about that anymore. Man, I got so much.
Erlin said, I don't go by that anymore. And this is just like, guys, we used to call these video paintings. These aren't even on like YouTube or anything. But
these are like performative videos that we made. They actually went semi-viral. Some of these videos were actually like really well received.
The thing with these videos is like people who were like artists that were like about to like blow up or something, they saw the stuff we did. I think one of them was this girl Natasha. I think Creation or something was like, she really liked what we made.
Yeah, there was like
a rapper.
I mean, that time like that time period influenced a lot of people, to be honest. Like literally at that time we had people like Rayshawn, literally Tyler, the creator, seeing one of these videos. He literally was inspired by the ski mask thing, like with Left Brain. I was good friends.
Oh yeah,
It's the story goes on and on. Like there's a lot of major overlap and connection. I'm gonna stop it and we can just take
Okay.
some questions. Stop sharing screen. Oh.
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna like let things play like a screensaver. This is the first one me and Erlin made right here.
This is a music video. This is a performance music video.
Yes. But you know, I won't let the whole thing play. We were doing these really creative things and just trying to make.
We were making them really kind of fast. Let's pause here. Any questions?
Yeah. Do I
Everyone, give them some questions. Give some questions.
What painting the bottom outside the wall?
Yeah.
What color for that?
I guess what type of paint do you use for outside, like murals and stuff? It's in the closet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it changes from mural to mural, but just any like I like to use water-based paint, like it's less toxic and
Name any brands that you mean like what some spray
it just
paint
depends on what
Really?
country you're in, dude. I mean, in Mexico, they only have this one generic paint called Comex, which I'm sure you're familiar with, Erlin.
Go back
It's like
to
watery.
like in the US, if you want to make murals in the US and you want to use acrylic base, non-toxic, acrylic.
I go to paint stores and I ask what mist tints they have.
So mist tints, like he uses a lot of like paint from companies that you know that definitely are mistake paints. Like mist tint. It's like right. Just go to the art store, use some mist tint. That's a good question.
Oh, thank you. Very great work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna do like that so you see the class.
Yeah.
I have a question. Like, where did you find the place? Like, when you do the art in the outside, like, how they can allow doing that? Like, how do you find the place?
Oh, I just got an email out of the blue and I thought it was fake. And they said, this is Disney. We're saying, is this Spencer Keeton Cunningham? And I said, yeah, like, what is this? And then I thought it was fake for a little while until I talked to them on the phone. I don't know how they found me. They didn't tell me how to come. It's not something I applied for. And it's actually not something I wanted to do because it was like a weird commercial. I think what they wanted to get was like a designer. And I was like, I'm going to sneak. For me, it's like Erlin doing performance. Or my performance was, I'm going to sneak my own propaganda into a mainstream thing. And hopefully they don't try to sue me or something, you know? And they didn't. They were just like furious at one point. And over the phone, I said, no, it's not Mickey Mouse. It's just a mouse. But they just, I don't know how they found me. They just sent me an email. And sometimes it's good to open your emails. I miss a lot of emails and like, that was one I'm glad I didn't miss.
Other questions. This is a rare opportunity to speak to Spencer. Like I'm being honest with you, like you won't get this, you don't get these sort of opportunities. So like just ask some questions. It literally he'll answer anything as long as it's nothing incriminating. So like, you know, incriminating, I mean. Yeah.
You together good friends, right?
Yeah, he's like we're almost like brothers. We used to bathe together.
Erlin, like I watched Erlin, you know, when they had their firstborn and like we all lived together like for years, watching his kids grow up and stuff, you know, watching Dalen grow up.
We lived together for like, I mean, we've known each other for maybe like 20 years, yeah? No?
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, almost 20 years. So yeah, it's been a great partnership and great collaborative you know, connection. And there definitely will be more. I'm working on some concepts for shows and ideas for shows in the future that will just highlight what we've done in California and broader ideas in a broader sense too. Other ideas, other comments, and like, you know, the observation, even about like, you know, professional path, but also for like, you know, usage of the symbols and rebranding. Like, what are any ideas that come to mind?
See, people thought this was Egyptian, but I wasn't trying to do anything Egyptian with this piece. But it's like, I feel like when you make something, people just get to decide to label it what they want. But I think that what they were seeing was the shapes of the bodies having like a big shoulder like that, like was representative of Egyptian type of thing, which some of Erlin actually has experience in his past work when he was younger doing. But to me, like I was close up. I didn't realize it was like looking Egyptian when I was painting it, but like I might like accidentally stumbled upon that. And that's like some symbol work I did for a friend.
This is a rapper. This is a really famous rapper by the name of Grouch. He's just This
he's
rapper is a really, really famous rapper by the name of the Grouch. He's part of this group called the Living Legends in California. And this is an album cover, yeah?
yeah. So this looks like it's photoshopped or something, but all it is I painted a big painting that is behind him, and then I painted on the actual shirt.
This
So
is
there's like a
perfect,
scene
dude.
here.
This is
And there's
perfect.
no like Photoshop done here. It's just the photograph, but each symbol within the painting is representation of a song or something the Grouch did. So I made this for people that like really know his music. They go, oh, that's like his original logo, or oh, that's whatever. And this
Is
is
that the Grouch's silhouette in the background?
yeah, that's from his first album cover, and this is kind of a making of like how we made this album cover, and it talks about like he was sitting down looking at the painting for the first time while we're photographing it, and he's like talking about symbols, and he's like, hey, what's that symbol? And I was like, oh, that's actually, and he was tripping out because I was digging so deep into the archives and talking about how only certain things can be represented with a simple brush stroke, to like make a symbol and make it like readable. Like
Crow, Simple Man, got the 4-track recorder right here. When the white flag is waved, it's not my hand, I gave my heart to be healed. What's this, bro?
I mean, just look at this. Can you see what this is?
That's handshaking.
Handshaking.
Oh, from Invisible Man. Oh, that's the gold bar from Gold Gold. And then we got the brain from They Don't Have It.
See, the Grouch back in the day, this is from like 99 or 98, I think.
Brain
And
is so gnarly.
he was commenting on like the old No Limit album covers where they made all the bling thing, and his thing was like his brain was all like blinging or whatever, like. And I was just doing, he was seeing those little references in the painting because like he's a friend, like I've known him for a little while, but like it was kind of like a surprise when I showed him that he wanted to do the album cover. So it was just kind of like, I was just trying to think, what can you really represent? There's a heart from that album.
Yeah, man, amazing work, dude. Looking at amazing. It's like just in the scope of just the weight of the work. It's like a lot of work, a lot of effort, filming yourself, and I think documentation is so thorough, man. I love how much you document. Makes me want to document more. I feel hella bad. I just fall off the face of the earth sometimes. It's like comes to document.
Yeah, it sometimes will slow down your creative process, but I force myself to like recharge a camera battery or something sometime. And like I'm kind of old school. I don't do like iPhones and stuff like that. I film everything on like cameras. There's like a little reference to smoke signals and some pattern work and American Indian movement. That's what this little symbol is right there. There's some like footage.
Free Leonard Peltier, dude. Any other questions before you asked the question? You didn't ask the question, right? Yeah. Come on, man. Ask the question.
How do you store all this? Like,
that's a great question, dude. How do you store this work, Spencer?
Oh, what do you mean? Well, this work right here, like that we're looking at, like this is something.
Not the murals. Not obviously you don't need to store a mural. I think.
Well, I want to mention that because this is on public display, and these areas up here are removable wood panels. So when I paint murals, sometimes I'll tell the person I paint, I say, if you're going to paint over this, you need to come and let me deinstall these, because to me these are artifacts of the mural, and I have a lot of artifacts that are chunks of murals, or I've saved entire buildings that were demolished on corrugated metal and stuff like that. So saving that, for instance, is quite hard. Erlin saw one time a whole building panels stored in this backyard in San Francisco of our friend Richard Blue Cloud Castaneda's house, and it's just sitting there. But one day someone's gonna want that, as far as like just to be seen, not to really sell it or anything, but. And yeah, this piece you guys are looking at was a comment on kind of indigenous representation, and the teams, the Cleveland Indians and the Redskins were still around with these logos at the time. They just recently, very, very recently changed it and kind of incorporating symbols of like the, shell, gas, and oil as like a pattern. But yeah, this is in Seattle, Washington. There's a lot of these. This is something I did out at Standing Rock. It's a sign I painted for the Indigenous Peoples Power Camp, which was the camp that we had where people come to get trained before they did frontline actions at Standing Rock, but people couldn't find it. So I made this big sign so people could locate the camp. And then I was kind of just using painting as like a utilitarian thing out there. Like they used the sign as like a barricade to stop police, and stayed up till the end. And it's that same statement of, you know, indigenous sovereignty protects land, air, and water. This is the water truck that delivered people water out at Standing Rock. Like we're all in here in these like teepees and yurts and freezing our, you know, off, and we're just, yeah, that was a wild time to be a part of that. My friend from New Zealand, actually, this guy right here, Damon, helped me paint this. And yeah, I mean, I got loads of, like, you know, this was like 100 more images in here. I could like stop.
Yeah, you wanted to end on this.
How about stop on that one right there? All right.
And thank you so much, Spencer. That was amazing. I'm super excited for more of the work that you're making right now. And honestly, I cannot speak highly enough of the work and just the energy, man. It just feels good, man. It's just positive, solid energy. And, you know, the thing I always talk to these students about is there's many different art worlds, and it's just finding your own art world that's out there that actually help you sustain and exist the way you want to live. So, yeah. Definitely, man. We're sitting, I mean, I'm sitting in front of a painting that I just did like a few days ago. It's just like, it's kind of big. Some person saw an image of this and thought it was like some crazy like representation of like lost souls or something. I was like, these are animals, man. Like, what are you talking about? But it's like, it's funny what people interpret work as, and like Erlin's saying, like, just find your own niche and do your own thing, and then, you know, just have fun. You should be having fun. And if you're not having fun, then you should do something else. I agree. That's a perfect note to stay on, man. Stay blessed, brother. And honestly, reach out to you very soon. An amazing work, dude. Thank you so much for doing this. And yeah, let's stay in touch. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna like see if this works right here. Okay, let's see. Play a song for you guys. All right, we're gonna fade out. We're fading out like this. I still listen to tapes. All right, guys. Well, let me tell you something. You're the original. I'll see y'all. All right, bro. This is funny because I just keep filming. Hold up. My mouse is actually. That's my prop, man. I was just trying to do something funny. I had a Wu-Tang tape too, but I didn't put it in. Yeah. Yo, man, thank you so much, Spencer. Man. All right. Peace. All right, see y'all later. Wu-Tang. Right. I don't know how to sign out of this. I'm ending it right now. Hold up. I'm gonna pause it.